Good keep in now. Ehlers turns, centering out front. Blake trying to settle. Skinner's off his mark. Ehlers scores! What a heady play by Blake behind the net. And Ehlers, he is on fire. Buries this one. We're tied at 2. Carrier pulls his way to the front of the net. Staal there, hammers it home, and we're tied. Oh, that line deserved it, and they cash in. The captain gets us even at 3. McDavid into the Kane zone, launched by Gostisbehere, leaves it for Draisaitl. His shot, he scores. And just that quick, Leon Draisaitl will end this one in overtime for Draisaitl, his 13th of the year, 3rd point of the game, and the Oilers will get the extra point here tonight.
Hi, everyone. It's the Canes Corner Podcast. I am Adam Gold. Hurricanes lose 4-3 in overtime to the Edmonton Oilers. We have about 30 minutes to chat about it. Let's do that. First, the sponsor read. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They're on Hamlin Road in Durham. You should check them out. I've been there in the showroom many times. Lovely. All sorts of doors and windows. You should check them out. You can open a door and walk and see another door. Then you have 2 doors to choose from. Choices. We all want choices. AluminumCompany.com. All right, so it didn't work out the way Carolina wanted tonight. Carolina loses. Don't get the 2 points, just get 1 point. You got to overtime. And there are like 4 or 5 things we definitely need to talk about. And first thing I'll just say is that there's a bigger picture conversation here about what we're watching with the Canes. And it's a good one, I think, in that there was a stretch of hockey this year where Carolina wasn't looking like Carolina. You're going to win, you're going to lose. And the Hurricanes right now have the fourth best record in the league. Like, that isn't even a joke. They have the 2nd best record in the Eastern Conference behind New Jersey. Personally, I love Carolina in a matchup against New Jersey, as good as New Jersey is. And I told a good friend before the season started, like, not even kidding, my pick to win the President's Trophy this year is the New Jersey Devils. And he laughed at me. He's a Devils fan. And I'm like, nah, man, I love the team. Absolutely love the team. Of course, they're out there without Jack Hughes for, 6 to 8 weeks with, I don't know, a team dinner injury, whatever that is. And he's been out a lot, but we know what high level he is. Who knows if that'll impact where they are in the standings. Hurricanes have been playing without Jacob Slavin since the 3rd period of the Philadelphia game. So this is now, Carolina is now, 12-5-1. They've played 18 games, 16 without number 74. Jalen Chatfield's out. Because Carolina's been hampered on the back end, although I think they're covering it very well. I don't know that Carolina would be any better in the standings. They might be better as a team, but I don't know that they'd be any better in the standings. They're 12-5-1. And we have to understand that that's pretty doggone good when you consider that there was, in the middle of this year, Carolina went like 6, 7, 8 games not playing Hurricanes hockey at all. Not really, possessing the puck, not out-shooting, out-chancing the opposition. But still, scratching out enough points to mitigate the rough stretch. And then they start getting back to Hurricanes hockey, and they're winning a bunch of games again, and it's looking like they designed it. So in a bigger picture, and Carolina was better than Edmonton tonight, and they're better than Edmonton. Edmonton just has those 2 guys, which can get you. And Carolina got by McDavid and Draisaitl tonight. And with help, we're going to talk about the 4 goals that Carolina allowed. But I'm not mad based on what I saw. What I saw was Carolina's better, didn't get enough out of it. And because those other 2 guys are on the other team, sometimes they don't need a lot. They just need a crack, and boom, and it's a game. So at least the Canes got a point out of it. You take the point and you move on, and Carolina's now got 4 games in a row on the road. Boston on Monday, Minnesota on Wednesday, Winnipeg on Friday, Buffalo on Sunday. Man, you'd love to see 8 points out of it. I'll take 6. Because honestly, I think as well as Boston's played, and we've already been schooled by them up there once. I think we're better than Boston. I think we're better than Minnesota. Winnipeg, another story. Winnipeg's excellent still. And we're better than Buffalo. So I'd love to see 6 points out of the road trip coming up. All right, let's get to a couple of things here. And we're going to go through the goals. But let's just start with this. You can't give goals away. You just can't do it. It's 4 games in a row where Carolina has given goals away. The game against Toronto a week ago, 6 days ago, right? Last Sunday. It's actually 4 games in 7 days. Give goals away. Got away with it. You outscored your problems. You win at 5-4. Toronto's a mess. You go to Washington on Tuesday, you give goals away. Okay, that's bad. You go to Vancouver yesterday, you give goals away. Outscored your problems. Win a game in overtime. And then tonight, first goal. What's Freddie doing? I mean, if you're going to give that puck away, Freddie, if you're going to put the puck in that position, you got to make the save. Flat out. And then Andrei takes a bad penalty, which if he didn't kind of finish the deal, I think he gets away with it because it's really it's not a cross check. But when, I even forget who he checked now, when he's down on the ice, you can't do that. That's silly. That's Sean Walker taking a terrible penalty yesterday. Was it yesterday or was that the game against Washington? Don't remember now. You just can't take bad penalties. You can't do that. You're already down 1, and now you're putting that power play on the ice, and Carolina got burned on the power play. But from that goal until the end of the regulation, the Hurricanes dominated the game. The problem is you dug yourself a 2-0 hole, and no matter how much better you are than Edmonton, Stuart Skinner had a good night tonight, and we know he's capable of doing that because we've seen them in the Stanley Cup Finals the last 2 years. So you dig yourself a 2-0 hole, and you're asking to not win a hockey game. And yet Carolina had a chance to win the hockey game, so they're obviously doing enough right. But that is the 4th game in a row where Carolina's too generous. And you can't do that. You can't do that as a steady diet in this league and get away with it, and Carolina lost the game tonight because of it. Now, the third goal wasn't because of a Carolina, gaffe, a mistake. And the 4th goal and the overtime goal, those were not mistakes. In each case, though, I can point to this. In the goal that made it 3-2, which was Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid, Carolina iced the puck, and ultimately, as soon and the Knobloch, the coach, is smart to do this. As soon as Carolina ices the puck, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman are over the boards. Boom, on the ice. Draisaitl won that faceoff. Even though the goal did not get scored off that faceoff win, those guys were still on the ice. Carolina got off on a full change. Trying to remember who was on the ice beforehand. I think it was the Stankoven, Blake, Ehlers line. They defended well enough for them to get off the ice, and on comes Staal, Martinook, and Carrier, which they were excellent tonight. I thought Carolina's second best line. But because Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman are still on the ice together, they're playing against that trio, and they got Hall of Famered. That's the only way to put it. We could say, well, he was behind here, he was behind here. Like, get in line, man. McDavid and Draisaitl have gotten a few players in their time. You don't have to make a mistake to give up a goal to them. So it's 3-2. That lead lasted about a minute. Next time the Staal line was on the ice, Carrier makes a great move down the right, cuts in front of the net. The shot stopped, but Stahl's there to punch in the rebound. We're tied. And maybe the mistake Carolina made there was not getting a 4-3 goal at that point. Because, again, the Hurricanes, once they tied it up, they had all the momentum, and you could tell the energy in Edmonton was kind of hanging on, but Carolina just could not find the range. Sometimes, a pass was a little bit behind in their skates. It wasn't about overpassing tonight. It was about just the puck not being quite where it needed to be for a quick shot that happened to the top line a lot. Anyway, you get to overtime, and then Jordan Staal loses the faceoff to Leon Draisaitl, and that's it. It took 19 seconds for Draisaitl to win the game. So the first goal, that's a giveaway by Freddie. Second goal, bad penalty, puts one of the greatest power plays we've ever seen on the ice. Third goal, Hall of Fame Central. Fourth goal, you lose an overtime faceoff. Hey, at least we didn't stick around for 4 minutes to get beaten, OT. And there you go. And that's the anatomy of a 4-3 loss. Now, Carolina countered with the Gostisbehere pass to Robinson for the first goal. Ehlers making a very good defensive play to keep the puck into the second goal. And then Jackson Blake making an elite pass again to Ehlers. That made it 2-2. We already talked about Carrier's play that leads to the Staal goal. But there were a bunch of other opportunities to score. There was, I believe it was an Aho. Was it an Aho pass? No, it was a Jarvis pass, I believe, to Svechnikov in front. I actually think Svech hit it out of the air. And Stuart Skinner made a great stop. He basically trapped it under his pad. Like, that could have gone under his pad for the same price. And Carolina would have had a lead late. But they didn't. Alexander Nikishin hit the post. Taylor Hall hit the post. Nikishin hit the post on a shot from, I don't know, about 10 feet inside the left blue line. Just absolutely rocketed one off the post. Look, Edmonton hit post too. They hit a post on a 2-on-1. I think it was Mangiapane who was shorthanded. So, I mean, there were goals to be had in this game. We had 7 of them, and only 3 of them by the Hurricanes. So, we're still in this. I mean, Stankoven did the bench interview with Shane Willis in the first period, and Stankoven said, "We got to get this part out of our game. We can't be giving goals away." And there you go. That's why Carolina isn't going out here with 2 points, because they started behind. Can't spot any team in the NHL 2 goals, but they did. And yet, I thought the power play was good tonight. Just didn't score. Wasn't always good. They didn't win a lot of faceoffs on the power play, but they got the puck in for the most part. They created opportunities, just didn't score. So I know Rod talked about it. He thought the power play was good. I actually didn't hate it. I don't think it was a drag. It goes 0 for 2. Both of their power plays, I think, were early in the second period. Edmonton got the one early in the game. They scored on it. And even that was a bad break. That's a Roslovic shot that's well off target, but a great bounce. And McDavid ends up with the puck, and Freddie is out of position, and McDavid kind of deposits it because he's the best maybe that's ever played. But again, I didn't hate the Hurricanes' power play. I will say this about the Hurricanes' penalty kill. They have allowed 11 power play goals in their last 13 games. Like, we're not talking about it because the Hurricanes continue to win. But the penalty kill has been just okay. Now, this is where I remind everybody what I've already said is that Jacob Slavin isn't playing yet. And Jalen Chatfield's not in. I think Carolina's penalty kill will get much better once those two guys come back in. But I'm also here to say that I actually think that the defensemen that they have used on the penalty kill have largely been good. Right? You know, we go back to the Washington game and they won a face-off in the defensive zone. Aho won it. He and Jarvis were on, and Mike Riley had the puck, and he couldn't get the puck out. So Riley wouldn't be in the lineup. That would be, let's just say that's Slavin. Does that puck get out? Yeah. But still 11 power play goals, and they're at 71.7% in the last 13 games. And frankly, since they've only played 18, that's kind of what they are right now. So that's a concern. I think we all have to go, yeah, the penalty kill needs to be better. They won a bunch of games last year. Won a bunch of games because their penalty kill was elite. And they need to get back to having that penalty kill. Now, what we do know, history tells us this. The Hurricanes are, who knows, maybe it'll start this Monday in Boston. The Hurricanes are just a game away from starting a 15-game stretch where they give up one power play goal. But that's, honestly, it's part of the formula that helps them win. And right now, that little element isn't quite what it needs to be. So, we'll talk about another element that isn't quite what it needs to be in a minute. All right. I've already said that Carolina was much better than Edmonton tonight. All the metrics would tell you that. Not as good as they were over Vancouver last night, but still better than Edmonton. Top line was great. Did everything but hit the score sheet. Yeah, you want them on the score sheet. But they dominated. This is how good McDavid and Draisaitl are. Aho, Svechnikov, Jarvis, who that was the matchup pretty much all game. They dominated that matchup. Absolutely dominated them. To the point where this is what the at 5-on-5, Aho, Svechnikov, Jarvis, 22 shots for, 12 against, shots on goal, 10-6 edge, scoring chances. Let me see. Expected goals ended up being close, but scoring chances 4-7-4, high danger chances 3-0. I mean, Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov were awesome tonight. And let's see, Draisaitl, McDavid, and Hyman. When they were on the ice, they were good, but when they were on the ice, it was against Staal, Martinook, and Carrier a lot. When those three together were on the ice, because they didn't play a ton together. And what they did was they used them primarily off of icings. And Carolina iced the puck a few too many times in the third period. But the truth is that the top line was excellent tonight. Aho, 7 shots on goal. Won 7 of his 11 faceoffs. How about that? It's the first winning night in the faceoff circle for Sebastian Aho. I think he had one. He was like 8-7 one night. It might have been the Buffalo game. But he played 21 minutes and 22 seconds. He was excellent tonight. I thought Jarvis was very good. I thought what Jarvis lacked tonight was a little bit in the offensive end, some precision in the offensive end that I'd like to see him kind of get back. He had it early in the season. The offensive part of his game has just been a little bit off. But let's be honest, we're just happy he played based on what we thought we might have seen yesterday. I think it's just awesome that he got in the game, and he played very well. Actually led all Carolina forwards nearly 23 minutes in the game. Andrei Svechnikov had a couple of shots. He had 8 attempts. He had 3 hits. He did take the penalty. We don't like the penalty, but I mean, I thought he was very good. I thought that line was great. It just didn't score. And I've talked about this, and I want to throw in one thing about Svech in a second. I've talked about this with several times during broadcasts. It took a while, and who knows if it's temporary or not. I don't think so. It took a while, but it looks like Svechnikov and Aho can play together. And now, with Jarvis, Aho, and Svech, Rod Brindamore goes, okay, I got my top line. I have a line that can go into the playoffs and score, and we can win. Now, they did last year. They did against the Devils. They did against the Capitals. Florida presented a different challenge that they did not handle well. Svechnikov didn't play as well. Aho was okay, great in the in Game 5, where Carolina got off to the great start and then fell apart. And Jarvis was good too. But it looks like that can be a top line. And then with Ehlers, Blake, and Stankoven, especially on home ice, they are getting bottom 6 forward matchups. They are getting third pair defensemen, and they are getting room to operate. I thought that line could have been better tonight. It was, again, it was sort of indicative. As much as they had the puck, there was a little bit of a lack of finish. Although the Ehlers goal, the play he made defensively, the play Blake made behind the net to find Ehlers for the goal that made it 2-2, that's great playing. But they were just a shade off, because they could have created a lot more because they had the puck a ton. But that line is good. We know what the Staal line is going to give us. And I still say this. I thought it's unfortunate that Jesperi Kotkaniemi got hurt against Vancouver. And he missed the third period, and he missed tonight. Hopefully they'll get him back by Boston. I thought Mark Jankowski played well, but Kotkaniemi gives them an opportunity, gives them a little bit more than Jankowski can give them on that third scoring line. And the physicality with which Kotkaniemi can play, as long as he plays that way. When Kotkaniemi is doing what the head coach wants him to do, he can be an effective player. And I think he had put together a couple of games in a row that really looked good. And then he got hurt. So I'd love to see him come back, and I want to see him continue to do what he did, play the way that the head coach wants, because he is a plus player when he is playing direct and when he is using his physical attributes and being physical and not trying to be not fancy, but man, just be direct, be north-south. Don't try to dangle. Don't make silly passes. Don't take bad penalties. Anyway, they missed him tonight. I thought they missed Kotkaniemi tonight. Let's see how much time I have left. Not a ton. Because I want to talk about two things very quickly. I thought the blue line was good tonight. I really didn't have any problem with anybody. I loved Miller, back-to-back great games. And I thought Joel Nystrom really played well. One of the silver lining to Slavin and Chatfield's injuries is we get to get more of a look at Joel Nystrom. He's an NHL player. Nystrom is. I think Legault is too, but we're obviously not going to see Legault probably until March, is my guess. But, man, I think Nystrom is an NHL player. Down the road, I think we're going to like him. So he's a smart player, and he made some good plays tonight. Saved the goal, swept the puck out of the crease after a great Freddie Andersen save on, was it McDavid or Draisaitl? Might have been Draisaitl one-on-one. Either way, great save. And I think it was McDavid. And then Nystrom clears the puck out of the zone. Let me start that over. I am concerned that the Hurricanes have a goaltending problem. I am concerned by this. So going back, the last time the Hurricanes had what I would consider a very good goaltending performance was Kochetkov at Madison Square Garden in his first start of the year. It's a few games ago. That's 7 games ago. The Hurricanes have played 6 times since. I don't believe they have had a good goaltending performance since then. They've had good moments. I thought Freddie Andersen was good after the first period, but the first period counts, and Carolina has now gone 6 straight games without what I believe to be a good goaltending performance. And somehow they have won 5 of the last 6 games. 5? 4. They've won 4 of the last 6 games. Did I get this right? Andersen's won. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're 4-1-1 in this 6-game stretch. So they've won 4, but they have legitimately had 6 games in a row where the goaltending has not been good enough. And I am concerned about that. Freddie Andersen has made 3 starts. The last 3 starts, his save percentage is .865. He's won 1-1. Kochetkov has started twice. Save percentage is .846. He's 2-0. Brandon Bussey won a game where he allowed 4 goals on 20 shots. It's an 800 save percentage. I ain't doing that math, but .865, .846, and 800, that doesn't sound like winning goaltending to me. So maybe it'll turn around. And we have been in this position before within a season where we went deep in the playoffs. I still have confidence that Frederik Andersen can be the guy. I want to see, do we play a Russian goalie coming up? Boston, no. Minnesota, no. Winnipeg, no. Buffalo, no. Well, that rules out Pyotr Kochetkov, who's only great against Russian goalies. And who knows if we're going to see, I don't think we're going to see Brandon Bussey start any of the next 4. Maybe. I don't think so, though. I would anticipate we will see Kochetkov in Boston and then Andersen in Minnesota, depending on how Kochetkov plays. I think Kochetkov probably goes in Winnipeg and then Andersen in Buffalo. There's no reason to use Brandon Bussey if you don't have to. And right now, I think he's going to be the designated, in-game backup. And whichever of the number ones isn't starting, they'll be upstairs. But I'm concerned about the goaltending because they're not getting good enough goaltending. They're on top of the fact that Carolina is giving the puck away. The goalies are not bailing them out. Very quickly, I just want to bring up yesterday's game. Kochetkov didn't allow a bad goal. Hurricanes won the game in overtime 4-3. Kochetkov didn't allow a bad goal. But I'm telling you, he played poorly. I talked to Tripp about it before we hot stoved during the pregame show. He agreed with me. Like, none of the goals were bad. None of the goals were you would go, oh man, that one can't go. But he wasn't ready on the Max Sasson goal. And if you watch that replay again, that didn't go 5-hole. That went underneath the right pad. That was, I don't know, at like a 30-degree angle to the ice. Like, it wasn't quite on the ice. It was up a little bit. It went under his pad. That's the biggest 5-hole ever. I said this on the podcast. It was like a 55-hole. So he played that poorly. I don't necessarily hate the Elias Pettersson goal. He got a piece of it, but he was also backpedaling. He didn't match the speed of Pettersson. He didn't do that with Sesson either. And then now I'm trying to remember the last goal, but I thought, the getting across on the Connor Garland goal. It's a great pass by Brock Besser. But I don't think Chekhov read the play very well. And I think he was slow getting to the other post. And I think if he gets there, if he reads the play right, it's not a goal. But none of them are bad. But I'm telling you, he didn't play well. And it's a growing concern right now. 6 games in a row, you got to have a good goaltending performance. If Freddie is playing at a high level tonight, yeah, he gives the puck away, but he doesn't let Roslovic beat him. You're even more determined after your mistake to keep that puck out of the net. The McDavid goal, yeah, okay. But I didn't think Freddie was great. He wasn't terrible tonight. But Carolina, again, has not gotten a really good goaltending performance since Kochetkov at Madison Square Garden. All right, now one final thing, and then we're done. And I will just take a second. It was brought up to me. I did not see it live. I didn't notice it live. Andrei Svechnikov's hit on Philip Hronek of Vancouver last night, Friday night. Elbow to the head against the wall. Ray Ferraro, well-respected analyst for, is it ESPN? I think it's ESPN. Thought that was a suspendable hit. I disagree. I do think that Hronek did dip a little bit. Look, I'm not defending it, but I don't think it's a suspendable hit. But this is going to sound contradictory, and it's not, but I understand how it's going to be taken. I don't like the hit, but I like what it represents. And I will explain it here. Because I do think Svechnikov finishes high. And the referee's right there. I don't know why that's not a call. So I don't like it. I don't want to see that. But at the same time, think about the playoffs. Hockey's freaking mean. And Carolina's not a mean team. So is there somewhat of a dirty play there? All right, you can call it what you want. But you know what? In the playoffs, Sam Bennett does that on the regular. And man, the hockey people love it. Playoff hockey, baby. So I don't like the hit, but I love what it represents. If it represents that Carolina will carry a little bit of a reputation, or Svechnikov will carry a little bit of a reputation that this hit might cross the line, is what it is, man. Playoff hockey. Sorry, rubbing is racing. So don't like it, but at the same time, I do. And I expect we will see some of that throughout the season from Alexander Nikishin. I hope we do. And we'll see if Carolina brings in any other element like that throughout the season. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. But I'm okay with Andrei doing that from time to time. I am. Because then people know it's there. People absolutely know it's there. I'll say it this way. Pedro Martinez, greatest right-handed pitcher I ever saw. Greatest right-handed pitcher I ever saw. Nobody has ever been as good, as better than the field as Pedro was for about a 7-year stretch. You can look the numbers up. But you know what Pedro would do? Pedro would drill you. Absolutely drill you if he thought he had to. Bob Gibson would do the same damn thing. Don Drysdale for the Dodgers would do the same damn thing. That ain't good. You don't want to bean people, but you know what? You have that element in your game, in your arsenal. I'm all about it. When you get to the playoffs, people need to know that you will be mean, because that's what playoff hockey is. It is not a friendly game. It's not a skating game anymore in the playoffs. You gotta sometimes get in the muck. And I am all about seeing Andrei do that, even though I didn't like the hit. I believe that does it for us. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. You should check them out for all of your exterior home improvement needs. I have been Adam Gold. This has been the Canes Corner Podcast. You can always watch it on YouTube. YouTube, search Canes Corner Podcast. Also, wherever you get your podcast, rate, review, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And I thank you very much for spending the time with us. Until Monday, after the Canes take on the Boston Bruins from Boston, I am Adam. Good night.